ICBC is not a cash cow. It is not meant to add revenue to the government of the province of British Columbia. The plan that we have now, that the BC NDP government now has, is going to result this next year, in a saving of 20% to every person who pays ICBC rates in British Columbia. That's $400.
ਟੋਲ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਅਨਫੇਅਰ ਦਿਖਦੀ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ 23 ਨਵੇਂ ਟੈਕਸਿਸ ਇੰਟਰੋਡਿਊਸ ਕੀਤੇ ਉਹ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਅਨਫੇਅਰ ਨਹੀਂ। ICBC ਰੇਟਸ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ 40% ਅਪ ਚਲੇ ਗਏ, ਉਹ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਨਜ਼ਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਆ ਰਿਹਾ। $50 ਮਿਲੀਅਨ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਸਪੈਂਡ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੈ ਇਸ ਇਲੈਕਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ, ਉਹ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਨਜ਼ਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਆ ਰਿਹਾ। ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਟੋਲ ਨਜ਼ਰ ਆ ਰਹੀ ਸੀਗੀ। ਇਸ ਟਾਈਮ ਲੋੜ ਸੀਗੀ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦੀ ਬਾਂਹ ਫੜਨ ਦੀ, ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਜੋ ਕੀਤਾ ਝੂਠ ਬੋਲ ਕੇ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਇਲੈਕਸ਼ਨ ਕਾਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਕਿ ਕਰਨੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ।
We committed, we promised during the election campaign that one of the first things that we would do would be to get rid of the tax, the unfair toll that people had to pay every day when they went back and forth across those bridges.
ਅਗਲੀ ਅਹਿਮ ਸੀਟ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਸਰੀ ਗਿਲਫਰਡ ਦੀ ਹੈ, ਉਸ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ, ਇਸ ਹਲਕੇ ਦੀ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ। ਪਰ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ 2017 ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਰੀ ਗਿਲਫਰਡ ਦੇ ਹਲਕੇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੀ ਕੁਝ ਖਾਸ ਰਿਹਾ, ਕਿੰਨੀ ਪਾਪੂਲੇਸ਼ਨ ਸੀ, ਉਸ 'ਤੇ ਇੱਕ ਨਜ਼ਰ ਮਾਰ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਲੈਟਸ ਹੈਵ ਅ ਲੁੱਕ। ਸੋ ਸਾਰੀ ਗਿਲਫਰਡ ਹਲਕੇ ਦੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਨ ਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ। ਇਸ ਹਲਕੇ ਦੀ ਜੇ ਗੱਲ ਕਰੀਏ 2017 ਦੇ ਅਕੋਰਡਿੰਗਲੀ ਤਾਂ ਰਜਿਸਟਰਡ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਵੋਟਰ ਸੀ 33,561 ਰਹੇ, ਟੋਟਲ ਵੋਟਰਸ 18,713 ਰਹੇ, ਪਰਸੈਂਟੇਜ ਇੱਥੇ 55.76% ਰਹੀ ਹੈ। 2017 ਦੇ ਇਲੈਕਸ਼ਨ ਨਤੀਜਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਜੇ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਜਾਏ ਤਾਂ ਇਸ ਹਲਕੇ 'ਤੇ 2017 ਦੀਆਂ ਚੋਣਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ NDP ਦੇ ਗੈਰੀ ਬੈਗ 9,263 ਵੋਟਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਈਆਂ ਸੀ। BC ਲਿਬਰਲ ਦੇ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਅਮਰੀਕ ਵਿਰਕ ਨੂੰ 7,015 ਵੋਟਾਂ ਹਾਸਲ ਹੋਈਆਂ ਸੀ। 2020 ਦੇ ਜੇ ਮੁਕਾਬਲੇ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰੀਏ ਤਾਂ NDP ਦੇ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਤਾਂ ਚੋਣ ਮੈਦਾਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਗੈਰੀ ਬੈਗ ਹੀ ਨੇ, ਤੇ ਲਿਬਰਲ ਦੇ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਇਸ ਵਾਰ ਡੇਵ ਹੰਸ ਜੋ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਮੂਲ ਦੇ ਨੇ ਚੋਣ ਮੈਦਾਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਨੇ। ਪੈਨਲਿਸਟ ਮਿਸਟਰ ਗੈਰੀ ਬੈਗ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਣਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਵਾਲ ਪੁੱਛ ਸਕਦੇ ਨੇ। ਸੋ ਈਚ candidate will be given exactly 2 minutes to respond to the question, and the opposing candidates will be given 1 minute to give their view. The panelists may now direct their question to Mr. Garry Begg.
Dave Hansi, sat sri akal. Garry Begg ji, sat sri akal. Garry so long in Surrey, so I know he knows sometimes more Punjabi than me. Garry, after last election, the tolls were eliminated from the Portman Bridge. At the same time, insurance was gone up. So, don't you think this was an injustice to the people of whole province who were not using the Portman Bridge because you charged everyone?
Thank you for the question. I think it's an important reminder of the years in which the Portman Bridge, the Golden Ears Bridge, was told. It was effectively a tax on the people south of the Fraser, and a tax that we found, I think appropriately, to be unfair. We committed, we promised during the election campaign that one of the first things that we would do would be to get rid of the tax, the unfair toll that people had to pay every day when they went back and forth across those bridges. I think that's an important reminder of the record of the BC Liberals. They had the opportunity to do it. They chose not to do it. They chose to penalise the people who lived in Surrey. We got rid of the tolls, which saved people living south of the Fraser up to $1,600 a year. That's $1,600 of real money that goes into the pockets of motorists every day. As well as the Portman Bridge, and you referred to it, there was this burning dumpster fire that was left behind by the BC Liberals, who saw the Insurance Corporation of British Columbia as a cash cow, which they could dip into every time they wanted to balance budgets elsewhere. ICBC is not a cash cow. It is not meant to add revenue to the government of the province of British Columbia. The plan that we have now, that the BC NDP government now has, is going to result this next year, in a saving of 20% to every person who pays ICBC rates in British Columbia. That's $400 in some cases, all across the province. Every ICBC customer will benefit because of that. Andrew Wilkinson's plan, the BC Liberals' plan, is of course to ignore that, make people pay more. It's interesting that legal fees, costs incurred to ICBC as a result of the process that we now have enriched only lawyers. Personal injury lawyers received $500 million in settlements from ICBC last year. 14 of those firms, incidentally, have donated more than $154,000 to the BC Liberal Party.
So, Dave Hansdi, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੀ ਇਸ ਤੇ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਚਾਹੋਗੇ? You have 1 minute to review.
ਹਾਂਜੀ, ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਮੇਰੀ ਦੇਵ ਹਾਂਸ ਦੀ ਚੈਨਲ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਤੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਦਰਸ਼ਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਿਆਰ ਭਰੀ ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ। ਗੈਰੀ ਬੈਗ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਅਨਫੇਅਰ ਸੀਗਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਟੋਲ ਲੱਗਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ ਸੀ। ਟੋਲ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਅਨਫੇਅਰ ਦਿਖਦੀ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ 23 ਨਵੇਂ ਟੈਕਸਿਸ ਇੰਟਰੋਡਿਊਸ ਕੀਤੇ ਉਹ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਅਨਫੇਅਰ ਨਹੀਂ, ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਨਜ਼ਰ ਆ ਰਿਹਾ। ICBC ਰੇਟਸ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ 40% ਅਪ ਚਲੇ ਗਏ, ਉਹ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਨਜ਼ਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਆ ਰਿਹਾ। $50 million ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਸਪੈਂਡ ਕਰਨਾ ਇਸ ਇਲੈਕਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ, ਉਹ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਨਜ਼ਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਆ ਰਿਹਾ। ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਟੋਲ ਨਜ਼ਰ ਆ ਰਹੀ ਸੀਗੀ। ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕਿ ਅਨਨੈਸੈਸਰੀ ਇਲੈਕਸ਼ਨਸ ਦੇ $50 million ਯੂ ਸਪੈਂਡਿੰਗ, ਯੂ ਡੋਂਟ ਸੀ ਦੈਟ ਐਜ਼ ਅ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ, ਬਟ ਯੂ ਹੈਵ ਅ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਵਿਦ ਦ ਟੋਲ। Is just when I put 2 and 2 together, it just does not make any sense.
So panelist Dev Hans ਨੂੰ ਆਪਣਾ ਸਵਾਲ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਉਹ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਨੇ
ਜੀ। Dev Hansi, my question is about the women empowerment. The gender inequality it's a big issue all over the globe. So when I see the candidate list for NDP, they have 53% female candidates in the list, and your party has only 31%. Why so?
Well, we respect both genders, as we know it's ਸਾਡੀ ਲਿਬਰਲ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਟੈਂਡ ਹੈਗਾ ਉਹ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਤੋਂ ਇਹੀ ਰਿਹਾ, unlike NDP. As far as the equality is concerned, it's just a matter of fact that candidates change ਹੁੰਦੇ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ time to time. ਇਸ ਵਾਰ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕੈਂਡੀਡੇਟ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਆਏ ਆ, ਮੇਬੀ ਇਟਸ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਮੇਲਸ ਦੀ ਗਿਣਤੀ ਹੈ ਫੀਮੇਲ ਨਾਲੋਂ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਆ, ਬਟ ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪਾਸਟ ਵਿੱਚ ਦੇਖੋ there were times ਜਦੋਂ ਸਾਡੀ ਗਿਣਤੀ ਸਾਡੀ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਾਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੈਂਡੀਡੇਟਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵਿਮਨ ਦੀ ਗਿਣਤੀ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਸੀਗੀ, ਤੇ ਫਿਊਚਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਹੋ ਸਕਦਾ ਇਸੇ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਹੀ ਹੋਵੇ। ਇਸ ਜਸਟ ਮੈਟਰ ਆਫ ਫੈਕਟ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਇੱਕ ਇਤਫਾਕ ਹੈ। this is what it is. ਪਰ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਮੈਂ ਇਹ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਨੀ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ ਕਿ ਰੀਅਲ ਮੁੱਦੇ ਤੋਂ ਨਾ ਭਟਕੀਏ। ਰੀਅਲ ਮੁੱਦਾ ਇਸ ਟਾਈਮ ਇਹ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਬੇਲੋੜੀ ਇਲੈਕਸ਼ਨ ਦੀ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਲੋੜ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀਗੀ। ਇਸ ਟਾਈਮ ਲੋੜ ਸੀਗੀ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦੀ ਬਾਂਹ ਫੜਨ ਦੀ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਜੋ ਕੀਤਾ ਝੂਠ ਬੋਲ ਕੇ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਇਲੈਕਸ਼ਨ ਕਾਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਕਿ ਕਰਨੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ। ਇਹ ਬਾਰ ਇਹੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਹਿ ਰਿਹਾ ਜੀ ਕਿ ਕਰੋਨਾ is here to stay. Are you not watching the news? There's a vaccine coming up. It's in the 3rd and 4th stage. We are optimistic about it. You're playing with people's life. You guys have opened the school. Schools are open, banquet halls are closed. How does it make sense? Thank you.
So Garry, you have 1 minute to review.
Yeah, I think it's important to point out that the BC NDP government has a broad diversity of people, genders, races, backgrounds, sexual preferences. It is a diverse group of individuals because we represent a diverse group of British Columbians. We have made a commitment to lift people up, to make everyone strong in this province. The BC Liberals were the party, for example, that did away with the BC Human Rights Commission. A basic human rights commission in this province did not exist until we got back into power. So it's very rich to say that a cure is right around the corner. It's almost Trumpian to think that
only commission you have is your union.
There is a cure that's going to come right away. That's all you guys care about. The reality is that COVID-19 is with us. It will be with us for some time. We in British Columbia are doing better than anywhere else in Canada, some say in North America, in battling the disease. Dr. Bonnie should be celebrated, not criticized.
You've done a wonderful job. You called it election in the middle of the crisis.
So the panelists may now direct their question to Mr. Garry Begg.
Mr. Begg, my question is about the truckers' problem. So during the pandemic, truckers played a very important role, and they have some problems lacking truck parking, restrooms on the highways. So what plan your party have for these truckers?
Well, our plans are already underway, and you say that trucking is very important during the pandemic. Trucking is important lifeblood for the whole economy of British Columbia. almost everything that you consume comes to us by way of a truck, and we recognize and celebrate the work that truckers do for this province and for the economy as a whole. We are already involved, as you may know, in building a new truck parking facility here in North Surrey, which simply provides another place for trucks to assemble, for truck drivers to take a break, for truck drivers to use restrooms. It's a $30 million project. We entered into it with the federal government, and it's being built on land near the just east, of the Port Mann Bridge, and it will benefit every trucker that has to transit in and out of the Lower Mainland. And that will continue. If you've traveled at all, and I know many of us are not traveling as much during the times of COVID, there are restroom facilities, portable restrooms now placed strategically around the province so that drivers can have a break from the road. We are the government that has put words into action. We didn't just talk about it, we actually delivered it, and as a result, the trucking industry has benefited and complimented us for doing that work.
So Dave, you have 1 minute to review it.
Mr. Begg, let me make it very clear. The big companies are eating the small ones. They're blatantly not following the law. Whether it's an issue of illegal payment, illegal off-dock work, that's what's happening here. And you guys are silent about it. This is the time to take care of common people, not to help your union bosses or take care of big companies. We are here because there's a trucking crisis here, and you're telling me everything is hunky-dory and everything is fine. That's not what we are hearing out there. You talk to Surrey truckers, you talk to anybody out there. Everybody is suffering. Everybody is suffering. And that is the reality out there. You need to open your eyes and see what people are facing. People do not have money in their pockets to eat. And you guys, you guys more important for you is the election. That's what you guys care about.
ਸੋ ਪੈਨਲਿਸਟ ਡੇਵ ਹੰਸ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਣਾ ਸਵਾਲ ਪੁੱਛ ਸਕਦੇ ਨੇ।
ਇਸ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਡੇਵ ਹੰਸ ਨੂੰ ਸਵਾਲ ਪੁੱਛਾਂ, ਮੈਂ ਦਰਸ਼ਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਦੱਸਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਵਾਲ ਕੀਤੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਦੋਨਾਂ ਕੈਂਡੀਡੇਟਸ ਨੂੰ, ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੈਰੀ ਬੈਗ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪੁੱਛਿਆ ਸੀਗਾ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਪਾਸੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆ ਪੋਰਟਮੈਨ ਬ੍ਰਿਜ ਦੇ ਟੋਲ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆ ਹਟਾ ਦਿੱਤੇ ਆ, ਅਤੇ ਦੂਜੇ ਪਾਸੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆ ਉਹ ICBC ਦੇ ਰੇਟ ਚੱਕ ਦਿੱਤੇ ਆ। ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਕੀ ਹੋਇਆ ਕਿ ਸਰੀ ਦੇ ਲੋਕ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਪੋਰਟਮੈਨ ਬ੍ਰਿਜ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਟਰੈਵਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਸੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਤਾਂ ਫਾਇਦਾ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ, ਪਰ ਉਹਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਨੁਕਸਾਨ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਸਾਰੀ BC ਨੂੰ ਭੁਗਤਣਾ ਪਿਆ, ਜਿਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਕਿ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਦਾ ਕੋਈ ਕਸੂਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ ਉਹ ਪੋਰਟਮੈਨ ਤੋਂ ਲੰਘਦੇ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀਗੇ। ਇਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਜਿਸ ਕਾਰਨ ਹੁਣੀ ਪੁੱਛਿਆ ਡੇਵ ਹੈਂਸ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਿ ਜੈਂਡਰ ਇਕੁਐਲਿਟੀ ਬਾਰੇ, ਮਤਲਬ ਕਿ ਲਿੰਗ ਸਮਾਨਤਾ ਬਾਰੇ, ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੇ NDP ਦੇ ਉਮੀਦਵਾਰ ਹੈ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ 53% ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਸੀਟਾਂ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਔਰਤਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਦਿੱਤੀਆਂ, ਅਤੇ ਲਿਬਰਲਸ ਨੇ ਸਿਰਫ 31% ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਸੀਟਾਂ ਉਹ ਔਰਤਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਦਿੱਤੀਆਂ। ਅਤੇ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਸ ਕਾਰਨ ਨੇ ਗੈਰੀ ਬੈਗ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ NDP ਦੇ ਨੂੰ ਪੁੱਛਿਆ ਕਿ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਟਰੱਕਾਂ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਆ ਉਹ ਕੀ ਖਿਆਲ ਹੈ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਟਰੱਕਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਮੱਸਿਆਵਾਂ ਨੇ। ਟਰੱਕ ਪਾਰਕਿੰਗਸ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ, ਲੋਕਲ ਟਰੱਕਰ ਲਈ ਹੈ ਨਹੀਂ, ਬਾਹਰੋਂ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਲੋਕ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਆ ਟਰੱਕਰ ਉਹ ਬਹੁਤ ਕੰਪਲੇਂਟ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ। ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਟਰੱਕਰ ਹਾਈਵੇ 'ਤੇ ਚਲਾਉਂਦੇ ਆ ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਵੀ BC ਦੇ ਹਾਈਵੇ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਟਰੱਕ ਚਲਾਉਣਾ ਸਮਝ ਲਓ ਵੀ ਰੋਜ਼ ਮੌਤ ਨੂੰ ਮਾਸੀ ਕਹਿਣ ਵਾਲੀ ਗੱਲ ਆ। ਸਿੰਗਲ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਲੇਨਸ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਜਾਣ ਦਾ ਖਤਰਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਬਣਿਆ ਰਹਿੰਦਾ। ਦੂਜੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਿ ਵਾਸ਼ਰੂਮ ਜਾਣ ਲਈ ਕੋਈ ਰੈਸਟਰੂਮ ਹੈ ਨਹੀਂ ਗਾ ਹਾਈਵੇਜ਼ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ, ਅਤੇ ਇਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਿਆਲਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਨੋਅ ਪੈਂਦੀ ਆ ਤਾਂ ਕਈ ਵਾਰ ਕਈ ਘੰਟੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆ ਸਨੋਅ ਪਲੋਇੰਗ ਵਾਲੇ ਟਰੱਕ ਨੇ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਨਹੀਂ, ਨੁਕਸਾਨ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦਾ। ਸੋ ਨਾਓ ਆਈ ਵਿਲ ਆਸਕ ਕੁਐਸਚਨ ਟੂ ਡੇਵ ਹੈਂਸ, ਅਤੇ ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕੁਐਸਚਨ ਹੋਣਾ ਆ ਸਮਝਾ ਦੇਵਾਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ 'ਚ ਆਪਣੇ ਦਰਸ਼ਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਮਨੀ ਲਾਂਡਰਿੰਗ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਆ। ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਇਨਵੈਸਟੀਗੇਸ਼ਨ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਸਰਕਾਰਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਰਨੀਆਂ ਚਾਹੀਦੀਆਂ ਸੀ ਉਹ ਗਲੋਬਲ ਅਤੇ CBC ਵਰਗੇ ਮੀਡੀਆ ਨੇ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ ਕਿ ਚੀਨ ਤੋਂ ਪੈਸੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆ ਉਹ ਕਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ। ਡਫਲ ਬੈਗਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਲੋਕ ਪੈਸੇ ਭਰ ਕੇ ਕਸੀਨੋ ਲਿਜਾਂਦੇ ਸੀ, ਕਸੀਨੋ 'ਚ ਥੋੜ੍ਹਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਜੂਆ ਖੇਲ ਕੇ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਹ ਪੈਸੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆ ਉਹ ਡਰਾਫਟ ਬਣਾ ਕੇ ਵਾਈਟ ਕਰ ਲਏ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ। ਉਸ ਪੈਸੇ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਫਿਰ ਮਨੀ ਲਾਂਡਰਿੰਗ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਸੀ, ਉਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਫਿਰ ਮੁੜ ਕੇ ਫੈਂਟਾਨਲ ਚੀਨ ਤੋਂ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਸੀਗੀ। ਉਸ ਫੈਂਟਾਨਲ ਨੂੰ ਵਰਤ ਕੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਹਰ ਮਹੀਨੇ 170-75 ਜਿਹੜੇ ਲੋਕ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਓਵਰਡੋਜ਼ ਨਾਲ ਮਰ ਰਹੇ ਆ। ਉਸੇ ਫੈਂਟਾਨਲ ਮਿਲੀ ਡਰੱਗ ਨੂੰ ਵੇਚਣ ਕਰਕੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਸਾਡੇ ਨੌਜਵਾਨ ਆ ਉਹ ਗੈਂਗ ਹਿੰਸਾ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਮਰ ਰਹੇ ਆ, ਰੋਜ਼ ਸਟਰੀਟਸ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਗੋਲੀਆਂ ਚੱਲ ਰਹੀਆਂ। ਸੋ ਮਾਈ ਕੁਐਸਚਨ ਟੂ ਡੇਵ ਹੰਸ ਇਜ਼ I'm just trying to explain how duffel bags came to BC casinos and then money laundered, and people sent fentanyl from China to Canada, and by using same fentanyl we see street violence we see overdoses, and NDP started an investigation, and it still continue. If your party comes in power, this investigation will continue, or you have any plan to stop it?
Of course, it will continue. Drug addiction is the biggest problem in Surrey. Violence is the biggest problem in Surrey. Crime is on rise here. जे NDP ने investigation शुरू की थी, and we will continue with it. There's no doubt about that. But I don't understand if they have stopped the money laundering, and how come the prices are still going up in the real estate, which they have promised 3 years back that the prices will go down. They will bring the affordability, and the 18% in three years gone up, and over 16 years gone up by 50%. You can do the math. Money laundering you're trying to control, and you guys introduced a speculation tax, which was a useless tax. It did not control a thing. And I understand that money laundering is one of the bigger issues for the house prices as well. So everything is connected. But when I want to ask NDP, what is their plan? What is their plan? The money laundering is one of the issues. There are other things. There are containers coming on the docks. There is no proper investigation there. What are you guys doing? And now you guys know that these things are happening. They haven't done a single bit for this. Neither they have any plan for it. If they have a plan, they have a plan for just one thing: power grab attempt. This is what you guys are here for. I mean, this is the pandemic time. What are we looking at? The worst thing, and when they announced the election, it was the worst time of pandemic. The number of cases were the highest. But what are we looking at here? Election that was not needed for a year, and you guys are opportunistic, and you guys ek mauka prasti hai. I want to say some words in Punjabi as well. I want others to understand. एक मौका प्रस्ती इन्होंने देख के एक मौका देख के पोल्स देख के पावर ग्रैब करने का अटैम्प्ट है whether it's a laundry issue, money laundering issue, crime issue. They do not care. What they want to do is they want to be in power for next 4 years, and I can assure you that people are not going to fall for it, and they will answer you by taking you out of the power.
So Garry, you have 1 minute to rebut.
Perhaps you didn't hear the question properly. The question was
I did hear, sir.
Money laundering. We're the government that put a public commission together by Justice Austin Cullen. It's now prorogued.
You want to see the results, sir? There are no results.
It's specifically targeting money laundering that took place under a BC Liberal
It's another talk.
And you should be reminded that this started
It's just another promise that you're never going to deliver, like all the other ones.
It's underway right now.
Like all the other ones.
This was done.
It's like hospital.
As a direct result, starting in December
3.5 years.
2007.
3.5 years. It's just a plan.
Dave, please let him speak.
They were going to disband the illegal gambling unit. The Solicitor General of the province, along with the Attorney General of the province, failed to recognize the problem of massive amounts of illegal money being laundered through casinos. So that's the answer.
If anybody has failed, you guys have failed. Nobody else. Thank you.
So we're gonna start our new round. This now concludes round 1. Now we will begin our crossfire round, in which both candidates have equal access to the floor after the first question and answer. Either candidate may rebut their argument in a 2-minute time frame. So Garry, you may now direct your question to Dave. You both have 2 minutes in this round.
So your leader, Andrew Wilkinson, says that renting a home is fun and a wacky time of life. Was your leader correct? Do you believe your leader's description is accurate? And what do you say to the thousands of renters in Surrey Guildford who pay on average $1,750 a month to rent a home? What will you do to help the thousands of renters in Surrey Guildford?
Let me tell you what I'm going to do. First of all, let me go back a bit. You promised renter subsidy that we never heard about again after the campaign. This you probably don't even remember, because there are 1,000 things you guys promised, then you guys never talk about it after the election is gone. Let's just start from there.
Let's start answering the question.
Now let's talk about renters.
Let's talk about
you do not play with the economy the way you guys are introducing baseless taxes like speculation.
No, the question is about
if you want to help the renters, let me answer, Garry. Mr. Begg, let me answer.
But you're not answering the question.
The simplest answer to that is there is a demand, there is a supply. under your jurisdiction, the affordable housing that you've been building is the 3,000 units versus 114,000 that you guys promised. If you guys go with that pace, it will take you a century to build it.
What will you do?
But yeah, look at the BC Liberals platform. Our name is connected to construction, to the progress. What we need to do is we need to increase the supply. If we increase the supply, if we level it with the demand, the numbers will come down and the prices will come stable.
Basic economics. How do you do it?
We build more. We need to work with the municipalities. We need to cut the taxes. We need to work with the new zonings. We need to work with the municipalities rather than paddling in the middle of people's life and stopping the construction like you guys do. Always introduce taxes. Give it to the union guys and introduce taxes for the common people.
You know, this lack of affordable housing here in British Columbia has been with us for years, at least 16 years. People in Surrey Guildford are struggling every day because there is not adequate housing. And you treat it as just simply as something about supply and demand. Basic economics.
It is basic economics. It's the science. You do not play with the science. You do not play with science. Like the idea is you have to build more. You have to create houses. You're not going to put a bed outside on the street.
Well,
if that's what you're planning hospital on the moon, there's no land. Where are you planning the hospital?
BC Liberals
that's exactly what you're planning for the renters. You're going to put them on the people's roof.
We don't want that.
So Dave, you may now direct your question to Garry Begg. You both have 2 minutes.
Okay, during the 2017 election, your party announced a $10 daycare for all parents. You guys re-announced it again, which was never delivered. You promised renter subsidy that never we heard about after the campaign. You promised a hospital. There's not a single penny in the budget. There's no land. There are no plans. You don't even have a land for it. You had an agreement with Green Party, which you guys broke. It was an ironclad agreement that the election will not happen till next year. You broke the trust. People don't trust you anymore. My question is, with so many broken promises and broken agreements, how can voters believe anything you or your leaders will promise? How can we trust you, Garry?
Well, I think it is a matter of trust, and I'm glad you brought that up, because that is the central question that we all face during an election. Who do you trust to see you through a pandemic?
What have you done for Surrey? Literally nothing. Literally nothing. All promises.
Where the BC government,
these are your gifts for us. Hospital, SkyTrain, you guys announcing it after the election.
Perhaps you've forgotten that it's my opportunity to answer the questions that you asked.
Go ahead, sir.
It's important that we understand that leadership is being honest. Leadership is being
truthful. They're honest.
Leadership is being inspirational.
They want a stable government during a pandemic. You want to make people unstable and you want to make the government stable?
Yeah.
That's what your promise is?
Yeah. You're very economical with the truth.
Absolutely. These are the real truths. You guys are giving us so many gifts to Surrey residents. You guys have promised a hospital, which is somewhere on the moon. We don't see it.
Not on the moon.
3.5 years. You guys are still concept plans.
Yeah. The hospital that you promised, the land was sold at a loss.
Let me answer that. I've been hearing this over and over. Land. You know how much it was sold for? You probably don't even know the number. Can you answer me that number? How much was it sold for?
It was sold for less than the market.
That's all you know. No facts. Land was sold for $23 million. Hospital budget is $1 billion.
Yes.
Compare apples to apples.
No.
We are liberals. We do developments. You sell land, you buy land, you do construction.
16 years.
You do construction. That's how you do construction. 23 million. You're comparing with the $1 billion budget? $1 billion budget versus $23 million. Are you kidding me?
Garry, you may now direct your question.
Well, it's a great question because I think we've just covered it. You're making wild and inaccurate statements about the new hospital and cancer care center
I like that word.
Being built here in Surrey.
Thanks, Garry.
Why are you trying to stand in the way of a major improvement in health care here, where the land has been acquired and a concept plan is being developed? The first major service delivery in health care since your party sold off the land meant for a new hospital and sat on their hands for 16 long years while Surrey residents suffered. Why will you not accept that your party dropped the ball completely on
We
healthcare
have not dropped the
in
ball.
Surrey?
We almost
Why
spent
did you not
$1
build
billion,
hospital in 16 years?
$512 million on hospital extension. We have spent $237 million on Jim Pattison outpatient care. That's our track record. We build, we deliver. We do not just make promises like NDP does.
Where's
We
the
build, we dribble.
Where's the
That's what liberals are all about. And now we have promised hospital. We will build it, we will deliver it, and you will see that.
We also, of course, built urgent care centers. 2 urgent care centers. 16
What is in your riding? What have you done for your riding?
There was nothing.
There's none in our
People
riding.
are
Nothing
suffering
in
healthcare.
Surrey, Guildford. Nothing in Surrey, Guildford. No urgent care. No hospital at all.
Surrey is-
What have you done for the residents?
Surrey is-
Literally nothing.
Surrey is.
You don't even live in Surrey, for God's sake.
I don't have a Disneyland in Surrey, Guildford either. Would you like to see
I
that?
can see that. Well, I would love to see. If I am a dreamer, I love to dream. I will build everything what my constituents want. Why not?
You, sir, are a nightmare. You're not a dreamer.
Nightmare. You don't even exist when people are looking for you, and you don't even exist in Surrey, and you want to represent Surrey residents. Unbelievable.
I've spent most of my professional life here in Surrey.
That's my next
I have
question. You will
built
hear
the
that. You will
reputation
hear that.
That I will stand
I will show
by
you
any
your
day.
reputation. The next question is going to build your reputation. Let me tell you that.
So Dave, you may now ask your question. It's the last chance for you.
I have door knocked about 2,000 houses. The biggest concern that people has, this is the biggest concern that people have, who is Garry Begg? We have never seen him. What does he even look like? And when I'm door knocking, they're asking, oh, you are the MLA, are you Garry Begg? We have never seen him. Does he even live in Surrey? And half of the residents know that you don't live in Surrey. A couple of people made a comment. They said, oh, he's not an MLA, he's MIA. And which I didn't really understand what MIA meant. They said it means missing in action. And this is what people are saying. You've spoken to thousands of people who have never met you in the past 3 years. You were never present at any of the community event. And they couldn't even give you a name. My question is, where the hell have you been, Garry? Where have you been? Do you even live in Surrey?
Yeah, that's a good question, and it's important that it be answered. I'm very visible in Surrey. I have one of the busiest...
Well, you must have done a terrible job because people don't know where you are.
I have one of the busiest constituency offices in the entire city in the Liberal or the NDP party.
They could never find you in there.
So
Every resident is complaining about it.
Yeah.
Who is Garry Begg? Where the hell is he?
Well, I will stand proudly on my record. I would be very surprised if there are more than 3 out of 10 people who don't know.
I'm going to call 100 people tomorrow. Let's you and me get together. 100 people. If 10 people recognize, then you can say a word to me. Even 10 people, 10% people don't know who Garry Begg is.
In the time of COVID, you would be knocking on doors anywhere.
Time of COVID?
Yes.
You should be ashamed of it. You guys called election during a pandemic.
No.
Are you serious?
We observe all of the rules.
Schools
of
are
the
open.
COVID
Banquet
pandemic.
halls are closed.
We've deliberately chosen not to
Tell
put
me
the
a
lives
single
of
school.
anybody
I'm going to
in
ask you a
jeopardy
question.
by-
I'm going to ask you a question. Tell me a
You're not
single
going to ask
school
me a
that
question.
doesn't have a COVID
You
case.
asked me the question, and I'm trying
You're
to
playing with
answer
our
it.
country's future.
The strength of your argument doesn't
Unbelievable.
become better the louder you speak, because the logic in your argument is missing.
Well, people can hear it. People know what I'm
Well,
talking.
people will
know what
decide.
I'm talking about.
So in closing, you have 1 minute to address the audience. So Garry Begg, please.
Thank you. It's important, I think, that we remember that this election will be about how we move forward in this province. I know as a police officer of many years that the best predictor of future performance is past performance. And when you make the decision to vote in this election, I challenge you to look at the Liberal record of 16 years. 16 years of neglect, 16 years of denial, 16 years through which people suffered and no help was offered. We have a plan that is going to get us through this pandemic and ensure everyone benefits in the economic recovery that ensues. Not just the people at the very top, not about the builders and developers that my opponent refers to, but everyone. We believe that it is a responsibility of government to lift all people up. On election day, I hope that you will vote for me. You know that you can trust me. You know that I am dedicated to your service. Thank you.
Devhans, ਕੀ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਚਾਹੋਗੇ?
Thank you. As we all know, they have called this unnecessary election that was not needed during the pandemic. This was trying to help people, but they did the other way around. he's talking about money, and they have 1.5 billion that they want to help people with. All that money is going to corporations, municipalities. Nothing is going into people's pocket. If money is going to go into people's pocket, what we are cutting off, PST 7%. We are helping the people direct boost to the economy. $1,700 average family is going to save within a year, and $8 billion record investment that we are going to make. And I want to request all the British Columbians not to fall for $1,000 bribery that these guys are offering, NDP is offering, John Horgan is offering. It's basically a bribery. They are offering you a $1,000 bribe. Don't fall for it. Take them out of the power. Please go out and vote for BC Liberals. Thank you.
ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ ਸੋ ਮਚ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਸ ਹਲਕੇ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਨ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਚੈਨਲ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜੁੜੇ। ਗੈਰੀ ਬੈਗ ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਥੈਂਕਸ, ਗੈਰੀ ਥੈਂਕਸ, ਔਰ ਡੇਵ ਹੰਸ ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਸ਼ੁਕਰੀਆ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਨਾਲ ਜੁੜਨ ਦੇ ਲਈ, ਡਿਬੇਟ ਦਾ ਹਿੱਸਾ ਬਣਨ ਦੇ ਲਈ। ਸੋ ਸਰੀ ਗਿਲਫਰਡ ਸੀਟ ਦੀ ਇੱਥੇ ਗੱਲ ਹੋ ਰਹੀ ਸੀਗੀ, ਔਰ ਇਸ ਹਲਕੇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਹਿ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਇੱਕ ਦੂਜੇ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਮੇਨੋ ਮੇਨੀ ਇੱਥੇ ਵੀ ਇਸ ਸੀਟ 'ਤੇ ਵੀ ਦੇਖਣ ਨੂੰ ਮਿਲਿਆ। ਇੱਕ ਪਾਸੇ ਗੈਰੀ ਬੈਗ ਹੋਰੀ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਹਲਕੇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵਿਚਰਦਾ, ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਦਾ। ਦੂਜੇ ਪਾਸੇ ਡੇਵ ਹੰਸ ਉਹਨਾਂ 'ਤੇ ਇਲਜ਼ਾਮ ਲਗਾ ਰਹੇ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਤਾਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਹਲਕੇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਦਿਖਾਈ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਦਿੰਦੇ। ਸੋ ਇਹ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ। ਸੋ ਚੈਨਲ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਦੇ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਇਸ ਡਿਬੇਟ ਨੂੰ ਕਰਵਾਉਣ ਦਾ ਮਕਸਦ ਸਿਰਫ ਇਹ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਉਮੀਦਵਾਰ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਵੋਟ ਆਪਣੇ ਨਾਮ ਕਰਨ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਜੱਦੋ-ਜਹਿਦ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ, ਆਪਣੇ ਕੀਤੇ ਕੰਮਾਂ ਦਾ ਡੰਕਾ ਵਜਾਉਂਦੇ ਨੇ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਸਿੱਧੇ ਮੁੱਦਿਆਂ 'ਤੇ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕੀਤੀ ਜਾਵੇ ਅਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਕੀਤੇ ਦਾਅਵੇ ਫੋਕੇ ਨੇ ਜਾਂ ਵਾਕਈ ਹੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੋਈ ਦਮ ਹੈ ਜਾਂ ਅੱਗੇ ਆਵਾਮ ਲਈ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਕੁਝ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਏਗਾ। ਉਹ ਤਸਵੀਰ ਦੀ ਪਰਛਾਈ ਥੋੜ੍ਹੀ ਸਾਫ਼ ਹੋ ਸਕੇ। ਹੁਣ ਫੈਸਲਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੈ, ਕਿਸ ਦੇ ਵਾਅਦਿਆਂ ਤੇ ਦਾਅਵਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਦਮ ਹੈ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿਸ ਨੂੰ ਜਨਤਾ ਦੀ ਅਦਾਲਤ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਫਤਵਾ ਦੇਣਾ ਹੈ। ਸੋ ਚੈਨਲ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਦੇ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਇਹੀ ਤਾਕੀਦ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਲੰਬੇ ਸੰਘਰਸ਼ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਸਾਡੇ ਪੁਰਖਿਆਂ ਨੇ ਜੇ ਵੋਟ ਪਾਉਣ ਦਾ ਹੱਕ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਦਿਲਵਾਇਆ ਹੈ ਤਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਸ ਦਾ ਇਸਤੇਮਾਲ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਕਰੀਏ, ਵੋਟ ਭੁਗਤਾਉਣ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਜਾਈਏ। ਫਿਲਹਾਲ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ।
ਸਾਡਾ ਹਰ ਇੱਕ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਦੇਖਣ ਤੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਜੁੜਨ ਲਈ ਸਬਸਕ੍ਰਾਈਬ ਕਰੋ ਚੈਨਲ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਤੇ ਨੋਟੀਫਿਕੇਸ਼ਨ ਲਈ ਬੈਲ ਆਈਕਨ ਵਾਲੇ ਬਟਨ ਤੇ ਕਲਿੱਕ ਕਰੋ।